Hello, Sean Munger here, That History Guy, and we're doing historical context of the James Bond movies. This one's number 4, Thunderball. We've been talking in the previous videos about how the cultural and historical moments of the early 60s has been changing and how that's reflected in the Bond films. Compared to its predecessor, Goldfinger, Thunderball, which came out in 1965, is a mess. It's long, it's convoluted, the plot doesn't make that much sense, Sean Connery has zero enthusiasm for the role, and about half the picture takes place underwater, which means it moves very, very slowly. About the best thing in Thunderball is the exciting sequences involving the Vulcan bomber, which was Britain's nuclear bomber and a groundbreaking plane in its own right. If you like aviation history, you might find the history of the Vulcan really fascinating. There's definitely a sense in Thunderball that the 60s are changing. Instead of the heady idealism of the Kennedy years, geopolitics by 1965 has become particularly cold-blooded. Instead of toying with the political realities of the Cold War like the previous films do, but really in a very circumspect way, Thunderball retreats into fantasy, with the villains hailing once again from Spectre, the fictional terrorist consortium, and their plans and their headquarters get increasingly more fantastic and elaborate. What I find interesting about Thunderball is its tropical flavor. The surfing culture was very big in 1965. Surf rock, the older cousin of heavy metal, was hugely popular on the radio. Surfers were becoming cultural icons, and tropical locales like Hawaii were very prominent in pop culture. Although James Bond never gets on a surfboard in Thunderball or on any other film so far as I recall, the movie takes place largely in the Bahamas, and characters are constantly diving or swimming. Q shows up in a Hawaiian shirt, and the actor who plays Felix Leiter definitely looks and talks like a surfer. Thunderball was released in December 1965. By that time, there were hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops in Vietnam. The government of Harold Wilson in Britain declined to join the war, although Australia incidentally did send troops and participate in some battles. The war was pretty much unpopular immediately. About a month before the release of Thunderball, an American named Norman Morrison set himself on fire in the parking lot of the Pentagon as a protest against the war. Vietnam is kind of a depressing time to be making spy movies, and you can definitely see the dark turn that the 60s have taken by the time of the next film, You Only Live Twice, which will be the subject of the next video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy this series. Thanks.